Welcome to Void Signal. I'm Brian McClellan. I'm here with my co-host for this episode, Matt LeBlanc. And today we're talking with Ashbury Heights. If you don't know Ashbury Heights, you're missing out. They've been making really great electronic music for coming up on 20 years now. Their newest single, One Trick Pony, is their latest release and what we opened the show with. What was your first experience with Ashbury Heights, Matt?
The first song I ever heard was Phantasmagoria. I actually found it on Spotify while I was just kind of listening to like the random radio stuff. And Spotify is great for finding new artists. And Ashbury Heights is amazing. They've quickly become one of my favorites. And I got to go through their back catalog, and it's just like everything is so great. It's so much fun. It's different. It's very eclectic and unique. They have such a unique sound. And that's what I really love about them.
Yeah, same. It just their music is just sort of covers all spectrums. It seems really catchy, really great songwriting in the traditional sense. But we talked with them today about their latest release, their real life jobs, and then we towards the end of the show we have a very riveting discussion about pancakes. So stay tuned for that. And of course, if you like Ashbury Heights, you can check out their music over at ashburyheights.com or look them up on Spotify, YouTube. Their YouTube has some great covers on it that are unreleased anywhere else. So you can go over there and check those out. And of course, Bandcamp. And
here's our interview.
Yeah. And here's the interview. So I'm Brian, the host of Void Signal. This is my co-host for today, Matt LeBlanc.
Hey, guys.
And
Hi.
So how are you guys? We'll just start off with like a nice simple question, like, how are you guys doing? Like, how's things?
You call that an easy question?
Yeah. It's easy most of the time, right?
Yeah.
If we can be as vague and as normal as possible, I'd say we're fine. It's summer, it's hot, it's too hot, it's very humid, and we have some time off to spend in each other's company, and we're not working too much. So if that's the baseline, then we're just fine, I think.
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to spend your time. I mean, there's worse ways. Plus, summer is not friendly to the dark music scene at all. There's no it's not conducive for makeup or wearing cool clothes or anything. Like I'm I go outside and I'm like hanging out in like sandals and yoga pants or capri pants. Like that's my new favorite thing as I started stealing my wife's capri pants. And I'm like, these are the most comfortable things I've ever put on my body. And they feel great in the summer. So a little pro tip for you, buy some capri pants.
Yeah, sure. I mean, us men, we figured out the fact that there's a thing called skirts long ago. So that's nice. It's airy. It can be black and it can be very gothic, but you don't have to pile on as many layers of clothing. So that's the good thing about it. For winter, I turn into this fluffy mushroom of anti-freeze because I hate winter. I hate freezing. And since we live in Scandinavia, winters are extremely harsh up here. So
I'm sure.
I'm so happy about summer.
Yeah, no, me either. I'm not. Especially right now, we've got a big heat wave here in the northwestern United States, and it's just miserable. Like the dogs go
Yeah,
out
it's
for a few minutes and then want to come back in, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's all over the news in Europe too. The American Canadian heat wave.
yeah, it's not great. It sucks. But well, let's talk about your music. So I'll just go ahead and rattle this out there. The new singles that you guys have been putting out this year have been and late last year too, I think, is when Spectres and Wild Eyes came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love everything that's going on with it. It's I don't know, it feels like a fresh coat of paint for you guys. Have you been pretty happy with how they've turned out? I assume there's an album somewhere down the road.
Well, first and foremost, that's great to hear.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's actually we do kind of we're kind of in love with this format of just releasing single songs digitally like this with videos. It's with everything else going on lately, it's a bit hard to like approaching the project of releasing this. Like, it's not, I mean, the upcoming album, the Ghost House Sessions, you might have read it. It's not exactly a new album. It's more of kind of it's a release of all the stuff that was never released, or at least most of the stuff that hasn't been released previously. And it's going to be like, and it's like, it collects some previously never released songs on one disc, and then there's going to be a disc of like covers and stuff that we haven't been able to release before, and then there's going to be a disc of
maybe some remixes.
So and some like
versions of songs.
Some weird and rare stuff, like the stuff we've done on YouTube and stuff we've done on like compilations like Electronic Saviors over the years that hasn't actually been like easily collected and available before. And then it's all going to be like released in a really ambitious, like nice collector's edition box set thing. So it's a big project.
But working on standalone singles like this is also kind of liberating, because when you have to focus on an entire album from start to finish, you get kind of overworked. You can't usually see the big picture. It's difficult to deal with all the songs at the same time, especially for a project this big. So doing this kind of releasing a single at a time, it's pretty nice. We can focus on one song at a time. I mean, of course, we have the whole perspective in mind, but we don't have to, like, I don't know, feel overburdened in the same kind of way. At least not for me.
Sure.
I mean,
no, that makes sense.
Yeah, sorry, and by this, and I was just going to say, by this time we're already spectacularly late. Because,
incredibly.
It was supposed to be released before the pandemic. Then the pandemic hit.
Yeah, we were going to start releasing stuff when we were touring last year with Massive Ego. And I mean, that's late 2019, early 2020. And that's exactly when the pandemic became a thing. And so everything was, pushed forward and delayed and rescheduled. Right. And it's just chaotic. But I mean, we're getting there. We still have a release for a bunch of songs. So.
Yeah, it was only recently, like in the past couple of days or so, that I stumbled onto your YouTube page, and I saw the covers for People Are Strange and Cry Little Sister, and I didn't even know they were there, like just hanging out over there. And I was like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
It's like finding out like an artist you like has made some extra songs to check out.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a, like, we've been trying to make it a tradition, but we're like it's like Halloween's been a hard deadline to hit, like most of the time, but like we started doing covers on Halloween like quite some time ago, and there's this like legally there's a thing about like doing covers, that when you do covers and you do them in a way that sounds very different from the original song, you can't just release them commercially. You need to ask like the rights holder for permission to release them, and because of this, hassle. We never really we only ever did covers as a fun thing, like non-profit on YouTube.
We get around the whole commercial thing by just putting them on YouTube and not monetizing the video. So we're not actually making money from it, and then it's okay because anyone can release a cover just for shits and giggles.
Right.
But we're working on getting them legalized, so to speak. Feeling something weird here, but
cool. Well, I'll keep enjoying your illegal covers on your YouTube.
Yeah, our contraband music.
Right.
Yeah, we're working on getting them.
That's a good title for the second disc. It's a contraband disc. Yeah, it's covers. It's contraband.
That sounds great. You're welcome. I mean, I'm just on fire with these ideas. But I mean, that also has to so the releasing just singles has to be such a relief compared to trying to crack out a whole album of concepts that fit together. Whereas this, you just, once it's finished, it goes out and, you don't, it's live and you don't have to worry about it anymore. That must be a nice change.
It really is. You can also measure you can feel the temperature of your work before the whole thing has been released. That's also kind of fun. But this whole releasing a single, 4 or 5 singles before someone releases an album, that's nothing new. I mean, regular pop artists do it all the time. Sure. And Spotify becomes overflown with singles and standalones and tiny compilations and stuff. But it's fun. We've never done this before, so it's great fun.
Well, it almost seems like that's kind of how it has to be anymore. Just because I feel like music consumption is kind of switched over to a la carte kind of digestion. Now it's standard for releasing 4 or 5 singles and just staying relevant, saying here's a new single every couple of months or what have you. Exactly. Versus people don't often sit and just listen to whole albums much.
No, I don't think so. Maybe it's an attention span thing. Need to consume faster. I have no idea, but
maybe. I don't know.
No.
So here's actually a question I was going to ask you about. We're thinking about this. Now, if you're releasing singles, does that help you sharpen your work overall as opposed to before, where you had a couple singles that were great? And you hear about there's albums that you probably listen to where you only listen to 2 or 3 songs and you might not like the rest. So do you think having the ability to put out those singles makes your music overall better because you're putting out stronger songs instead of just a couple strong songs and then maybe your B-sides?
In regards to your question, I see what you're getting at. I've been thinking about that too. In this particular case, I mean, this is a weird collection of odds and ends because these songs are some of them are 10 years old. Some of them are quite a lot newer than that. And then
some of them weren't even finished written. I mean, you haven't written all the songs completely.
No. They were the way I do songs for an album is I write a lot of instrumentals. I write maybe 30, 40 instrumentals, and then I start making then we start
slather on some
putting on vocals and stuff and turning them into something. So for this compilation, I just went through all of those instrumentals that never got to be real songs and kind of started remaking them, started to pull them in different directions and see if there was anything interesting there. And I think it's definitely it's meant that thus far, and I think you'll agree when you hear the next single, I think you'll agree it's still very the songs are very different.
Yeah, there's not a lot of cohesion to this album.
Yeah, when you do an entire album and you plan it as an album and you write songs, you kind of have this cohesion thing in the back of your head,
it has a certain vibe or sound or feeling.
And that's why these that's why these instrumentals existed in the first place, because they were part of this collection of instrumentals that were going to be turned into an album, and some of them were simply okay, this doesn't fit, this isn't cohesive with the vision that we have for this album. And so now what we have here is a bunch of odds and ends.
It's leftovers.
Yeah, and they were defined by their lack of cohesion with the whole. So this album is basically
it's a bunch of misfits.
Yeah, exactly. it's like the anti-cohesion.
Exactly.
I think that like and because I think that's also a big part why this releasing the singles like this became a natural behavior for us, because we don't look at this collection of songs as like a album. We look at them more like an alternative universe greatest hits album.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's a bunch of singles that we're collecting for the first time, and like in a different reality, maybe they were part of like an Ashbury Heights album in the past, but in this particular reality, they kind of fell by the wayside. So
I mean, you can't really we can't look at the ones we've released now and think like, oh, next song we have to write a song that sounds more like this one because people appreciate it, or the views on this video is good, or we have a lot of streams on Spotify. We can't really measure it that way because we already have the material. We can't really change it to fit something based on reactions or appreciations. So this is just a big test. It's just a big what happens if we do this? Bam.
Yeah, it sounds like a very exciting experiment with your island of misfit singles, trying to
Yeah.
So is it you said it's leftovers. Is it leftovers from like your entire discography, like all the way back to 2005 or?
Yeah, it's all the way back to Take Care Paramore.
Okay.
So
there's nothing from the first album.
Yeah, so the first single, Spectres from the Black Moss, is actually a leftover from the Take Care Paramore sessions. But I mean, it was just like it was an instrumental with that like synth riff and a beat, and I always liked the riff, I always liked the beat, but I never we had a lot of songs on that album and there just wasn't room for it, and come 10 years later, wow, this still slaps, I can do something with this.
And there's gonna be songs on the album, probably maybe released as a single, I'm not gonna name it, but there are songs that we've written outside of either of our projects, like Ashbury or Javelin or anything. Like we've just scribbled on stuff and worked for other reasons on different kind of songs. And we thought, hey, this is a good song. Let's turn it into an Ashbury song, even though it originated from something completely different. So that's cool.
You beat me to it. Like my next question was going to be,
sorry,
is any of this Javelin, leftover Javelin stuff? But it's cool. I mean, it's fine. I didn't know you were a journalist too. It's cool.
No, I mean, it's not. I'm just gonna go ahead and say no. Nothing is specifically Javelin stuff. No, but it's not Ashbury either. It's just something we've worked on together as friends. In his old studio or during different kind of settings. We just wrote songs. We've been writing songs for ages without even releasing them as Ashbury or Javelin. So
there was this dark period when Ashbury Heights was on hiatus and I wasn't legally allowed to make music. Basically
the dark times,
or I was legally discouraged from making music, and during this time we did still write a lot of songs. I wrote material for other artists, and I wrote material for my publisher, basically, I mean, this was still our songs. They just didn't really have any. They didn't have a recipient, so it just kind of lingered around. So some songs are from that dark period. There was we wrote a lot of songs during that period.
Tons of songs. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's probably about 50 tracks.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those songs, some of the stuff that was written during this period became the embryo for the Looking Glass Society. So a song like Mask was written during this period, and was originally not an Ashbury Heights song. It was just a song written just to get it out of my system. So we've used some of them already, but there's a lot of stuff from that period that There's a lot of stuff from that period that's pretty weird, because since we didn't like need to have it be Ashbury stuff, some of it is actually quite experimental or downright silly, because we could do anything.
One of my favorite songs from the upcoming album is from that period, and we were flirting with whole other kind of influences, and then we just dressed it in Ashbury. We made it sound Ashbury, but the bass line of it, and I mean the core essentials of the song was actually inspired by something completely different. It has nothing to do with the scene or anything that we regularly would listen to. So it's fun. I think people are gonna love it, and they're gonna hear that there's something up with this song. This is a weird track, but it's a really good one. So,
yeah, but I mean, I feel like that. I feel like that kind of also just speaks to how Ashbury Heights is kind of all the time. You know, I mean, when I sit and listen to Ashbury Heights, I mean, like, you know, the spectrum as far as musical style goes, I mean, it's all over the map. So it's interesting to me to try and like conceptualize in my brain, like, oh, this is Ashbury Heights, but not really. Like, it's a little different. They're doing something different, and it's like, but they're always doing something different. Like, I never know what to expect with Ashbury Heights, so I'm excited to hear how it turns out.
That's a beautiful compliment to get as musician.
Oh, you're welcome. You know, thanks for coming on the show. But yeah, it makes me excited to hear what comes of the new record, and what kind of outside influences might make their way in.
Yeah, I mean, so it's always been like, I mean, I think of it as I'm not sure I think about it as a strength, because a lot of bands and artists who are quite successful are successful because they're very dedicated to one path, to one sound, and refining like this.
They have like a musical identity in some way.
A core identity that they just keep refining over the decades. But Ashbury Heights has always been very.
It's a messy fucking band, yo.
Yeah, we like, we can't, like, I get bored really easily. I need to try new things. I need to try different like musical ideas, and if I hear something that like that's also like some of the songs on Looking Glass Society and Victorian Wallflowers, which have their basis in that hiatus period, still have some like a lot of people were quite surprised that there was like some little dashes of dubstep on some of the songs. And that's just because during the hiatus, I got really into dubstep for a while, and I did a lot of dubstep tracks. And then, like, when that got turned into Ashbury songs, some of the dubstep stuff just got like left in there.
It just wouldn't wash out.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it's like I could like take this out, but that would actually make this song worse. So okay, we're gonna keep some of the dubstep in there. Right. And I mean,
we've got tons of that for this album. Not dubstep in particular, but that kind of mindset and workflow.
Well, the thing is that you guys sound guilty that you don't have like a quote unquote identity, but that is your identity. That's like your strength. You know, that is you guys. That's Ashbury Heights. So I wouldn't be too upset about that, to be honest, because that's what I like about your music. It's all very different. It's all very creative. It's you guys. It's unique.
Yeah, that's a very philosophical statement there. It's like our lack of a cohesive identity is actually the identity in itself. That's very. That's. I mean,
it vibes kind of well with us though as personalities too.
Yeah. Well, I
somehow it puts itself together.
Yeah, I completely agree with Matt. Like, it's you know, that uniqueness is what helps make the band. I mean, plus, you know, it helps that like aesthetically, you know, as far as like promotional stuff, like videos and stuff like that, there's always like such an interesting blend of, you know, the Victorian, you know, well-dressed sort of style mixed with like, you know, dance music. Like you're like, you know, I know that when I look at an Ashbury Heights cover, like Anders is wearing a suit. He's not going to go like, you know, bust out some dance moves like in this, like, but you know, but like that's what helps sell it is like, it's like, you know, we have day jobs, but we can be classy and make dance music and make music about whatever. So I don't know. It's such a unique approach. I just enjoy it a lot.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take that as a challenge. Bring on the dance lessons.
Yeah, that's the next music video, right? Like,
I mean, we have Andrew dancing in One Trick Pony. He's actually vibing and jumping and flowing around. So yeah, I mean, that's actually a really good video to demonstrate your whole point there. Like, we have a day job, but yeah, I can still dance. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, you were really coming out of your shell there. I mean, for a minute, Anders, I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought, I was like, oh, this is about to flip. He's going to be in like the tight leather top. And
it's gonna gimp on us.
And yeah, and then and then you'll be wearing the suit, and it'll be a role reversal. It'll be great. Like, that's what I thought was going to happen. But
yeah,
didn't quite make it. But
no, I'm sorry.
So it's all right.
Left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah. You don't know the B-rolls, man.
So is this now that things are kind of starting to open back up a little bit, are you guys going to be rolling out on another tour, or is that something you're kind of waiting to see what happens?
Well, sure hope so.
Yeah, we're working on it. We wanted to be that way.
Yeah, I mean, we lost, like, there was a lot of gigs we were looking forward to last year that we had to cancel because of the pandemic. Like, we were doing 2 gigs in Canada. That would have been our first gigs ever in North America. Yeah, that would have been
a turning point in our career, to be honest.
That was that sucked. We're gonna play in Finland, which is my like fatherland. It's always fun to come back there, and we didn't get to do that either. That sucked. And we were supposed to do a UK leg of our tour with Massive Ego. That would have been really fun. And now I don't even know if we're ever getting back to UK because of the Brexit thing. So I don't know. It was sad. Like, we had a really good, like, last year was queuing up to be a really good year for us, and in the end it turned out to be like we've had like our best year ever in like streaming and like in digital sales. Like, we've been doing quite well, but it's the gigs, like
the gigs.
Yeah, we so many gigs we were looking forward to that we lost out on, and we can only like hope that the people who booked us last year, that they're still around next year, so that we can pick that up again.
Right. Sorry to ask such a downer of a question. I wasn't expecting you to be like, yeah, we were going to do this amazing thing and it was going to be a turning point for our career, but sorry, now we're not. Now we're sad. And so.
Yeah, we were pretty bummed out. And post-tour depression is a thing as it is. And then to hear the world say, "Oh, we did a fuck up. Sorry. No, you're not going to do you for a while. So see ya." That was that was a hard candy to swallow, to be honest. It was no.
I mean, do you feel like it at least sort of fueled your creativity a little bit, or have you just been like, I don't really, if I don't get to tour and play gigs and
we had to come up with new ways.
I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah, we had to come up with new ways to do other kinds of content, like the demo reviews we did. We had to record our own videos without external help. We couldn't travel for videos other than between ourselves within the same country. So we really had to turn up our own creativities in other kinds of ways. So that's been working out, I guess.
Yeah, but music-wise, it's been quite hard. Like, we had, like, when I moved abroad in 2019, and that was really good for my inspiration. So we were doing, like, we're also working on an actual new Ashbury Heights album. I've maybe like 14-15 new songs for that, which is going to be released after the compilation. And we were like, I was making strides. I was like good things were happening, and then, like, when the pandemic hit and I got, like, isolated in a, like, strange land with no social life at all.
Strange rent deals.
Yeah, it was like I was basically locked in a box for half a year, and that was not good for my creativity, definitely. But I'm thinking that when I have a perspective on this, when we get like a perspective on this, when it's over and I can look back on the experience,
we can draw upon it.
Then we can draw upon it. Then we can write some songs that I think people are really gonna relate to.
Yeah.
It was a common experience, and there's a lot of stuff to talk through.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Matt, do you have a question? I've been.
Well, actually, I wanted to ask that question. Like, how did you keep the passion alive and like the inspiration through like some of the dark times? Like you said, you had like a dark time. I guess it was back like when you had issues with the record label. But like how do you work through that as an artist to just like find that, like just to get out of bed every day and just to do it again when you have so many things kind of beating you down, telling you like maybe you should give up?
Man, you really want to trudge some dark waters here.
Sorry, we don't have to. It's just that's the stuff I like knowing about.
I mean, I can talk. I can't speak for Anders, but going back to those dark times when Anders couldn't do music, I mean, I weren't part of the band anymore, and I worked so hard with Javelin, and I was in a dark place. Everything basically sucked, to be honest. It was a really shitty time, but we did a lot of things together as friends, and we helped each other out in some ways. We assisted each other. Anders helped me with the Javelin album. I helped him with Take Care Paramore. And then we spent some time just writing songs outside of our projects. And this time around, I mean, when you've been writing music for such a long time, or even other kinds of artistic things, be it painting or designing or sewing, whatever you want to call it, it becomes such an integral part of yourself. It's like I can't wake up one day and say like, nah, I'm gonna stop being a musician. I'm gonna stop being a painter because it's just not panning out for me. That's just not possible. I can't do that. It's part of me. It's the way I am as a person. It's part of my identity. So it's gonna suck and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be worthless and sweaty and sometimes stinky depending on which venue you're playing, but you still can't see yourself not. You can't see yourself not doing it. It's just not possible.
No,
it's just a way of being.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's a sickness. Once you're doing art, you can't stop doing art. I think for me, the way to avoid like giving up completely has always been to like adjust the scope of my dreams a bit. Like there's like you have a dream and then it looks like you're not no longer heading towards the dream. You're heading right into a wall. You change your scope a bit. You change direction and you find like a adjacent dream and you like
or a smaller wall so you break through it.
or you just pick up speed and hope to break through that one wall.
Right.
I mean,
smack that in.
I mean, right? It's like you get older, like your life priorities change, and like dreams kind of change with that. We have a contract for 6 albums, and we're still like delivering on that, and I'm really looking forward to like delivering on that deal. And I recently signed a new publishing deal with BMG, and that also brings with it a whole new slew of with that, you sign a paper and you tell them that, yes, I'm going to do these things in exchange for you doing these things for me. And I like those things. I think those things are good for me. Like it's good to have these demands, and I feel kind of inspired by these demands at the moment. Like we need to deliver some albums here. We need to deliver some new singles, and it's going to be fun delivering these things. Hopefully on time, although that's not really been our thing.
Never,
like
ever.
It's not the musician's way to deliver things on time.
Oh, hell no.
But
I mean, I'm proud of myself if I make it to my actual day job on time every day. That's an accomplishment.
Oh yeah, I'm terrified. I'm gonna have to start going back to an actual office in a while, and like getting to the office on time again. Oh.
But I mean, for Anders, it's the deals and the delivering on things. For me, it's just I kind of touched on it when we were on our last tour together. It's been years and years ago since I was on a tour, and I was like, oh, I remember all the hard times. the cramped beds, the lack of hygiene. I mean, the enormous amounts of alcohol, and man, you feel like a bag of shit after 2 days. It's just you can't avoid it. But for me, and music and creating and art and everything is just when I do it, when I live my music, when I when I put on the vocals for a new song, it's like I actually exist. It sounds super dark and horrible, like life is pain without music. But when I actually live my music, when I play it live, or I write a new song, I just work with it. That's when I actually feel like I'm at ease, I'm at rest. It's my head is quiet. Everything is just the way it should be. That's the real deal of life for me. So there's no alternative to not do this.
I mean, that's extremely relatable. I mean, I feel like that applies to anybody who finally gets the chance to do something that they love, right? I mean, like when I get to do interviews or do void signal-y kind of things, like I'm like, oh, this is I feel so comfortable doing it, and I feel that sort of like alive, like, oh, I'm finally awake sort of a feeling, similar to what you describe. And especially like when it comes to, trying to go to like day jobs, like I'm pretty unemployable. So it's, I'm just, trying to make my own way here. So I get that too. Like it's, that's not pleasant either, but yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
we were, I think we were both unemployable at one point.
Yeah.
I'm still in shock that I'm actually employed. I'm still in shock over that.
He spent years and years in school, and he's like, I can't believe I got a day job. It's like, come on. The fun part is we both got these super serious, mega responsible, failed mega jobs during the pandemic. I'm not going to go into detail what I do because it's for my own security, but we both work for the state. So I mean, it's like super, super rigid and super like structured. Like this is a place for adult people. And I go into this job every day and I'm like, I'm not a fucking adult. This is a big lie. What am I doing here? And why am I good at it? I don't get it.
I feel like that too. Actually.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that before. We're actually both working for the man.
We're working for the man.
Yeah. That's material.
Yeah, we sold out. We
sure sold out. It's so punk. We actually spent Midsummer. Unfortunately, we couldn't have Anders with us, but me and a couple of my friends, we spent Midsummer together, and we were standing around this barbecue, and I just realized, oh my god. We have 3 different representatives of the Swedish state by this goddamn bar, grill, whatever. And we're all punk rock kids from our youth. I mean, we still have piercings, the tattoos, the mohawks, the everything. And like, we're going to talk about the unemployment issue, the criminality, and maybe the Swedish Defense Forces. And maybe we should go over the welfare and economic structure of blah, blah, blah. Like, this is insane. This is not... So, it's... Yeah, really sticking it to the man here.
I should for context, should mention that Midsummer, like summer solstice, is a huge it's a huge holiday in Sweden.
It's very pagan and very drunk and very.
It's bigger than Halloween here.
I mean, I saw the horror film. That's all I need to know about it.
Okay, yeah. That's all you need.
You take some drugs. You wear white. I get it.
You kill old people because they're just they're just encumbering our system.
Right, and if they don't die, you just smash them with a hammer. That's cool. Yeah, I know what happens in Sweden. I saw it.
It can always be glorious.
And we do silly dances around giant green penises.
And then someone turns into a flower. Done.
And then you burn someone alive in a bear suit. Sounds great. I mean, Sweden sounds like such a jolly place.
It is. I mean, we're dedicated.
No, I would love to visit Sweden sometime. And now that I know that some officials that work for the state, it seems much easier now. So. But yeah, we've actually had a lot of success with a podcast in Sweden. Now that you mention it, this is somewhat related, barely related, very tangible. But we had Tom Alsberg from Brides of the Black Room on the show.
Yeah, I saw. He's a really good guy.
Yeah, love that guy. What a great voice too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, ever since then, we've just been like quite a popular podcast in Sweden. So I was like,
Yay!
as soon as you guys were like, "Oh yeah, we'll be on the show," I'm like, "Cool, Sweden, here we come!" You know, like second round. So
Woo.
it's very exciting. But yeah, it's weird to
get the chance.
Yeah, I would love to. Maybe not around midsummer, so that I don't end up in a bear suit. But you know. But yeah, it's wild to be adults. And I think that's one of the great things that your One Trick Pony video and single kind of speaks to, is that feeling of imposter syndrome at times of like, you know, do these people actually know I don't know what I do? Does everybody realize that I'm very out of place, that my resume is a fabrication? Do they know that? Like that feeling of being out of place. Love that single, love the video. You did a fantastic job on it. But yeah, very relatable in that respect.
Thank you.
Matt, did you have a question?
Oh, of course. I got lots of questions. I got all these like goofy, weird, offbeat questions. But I'll keep it. I'll keep it kind of relevant here.
Come on.
So since we're kind of talking about things that are like unrelated to your music, what are some things that you guys do outside of music that might be uncharacteristic that people would find interesting?
Oh, my day job is one of them, but we're not going to go into that. I don't know. What do we do?
What do we do? Uncharacteristic. Well, I'm a major of game design, and I have a unhealthy obsession with video games ever since childhood.
Yeah, but
oh my god, we're huge gamers. Brian and I are both mad gamers.
Yeah, we're all gamers here.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, you're a huge game nerd. I mean, me too. I'm sorry, but you majored in it, so
yeah. I'm an academic.
Yeah, you're an academic. I'm just a plebeian nerd.
Yeah, I mean, until you spend a lot of money on being certified nerd, then you don't have to. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I'm just as good as that. No, I mean, what do I do? I'm a painter, designer. I mean, that's not maybe that's pretty given. People know that already. But
you paint guitars.
I paint guitars. Yeah, I pimp people's guitars. So people hand me guitars or pick guards or necks or heads of a guitar, and they say, "Oh, I want like a combination of my two cats, but I want them to look like people, and I also want the rainbow color in them." I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna work on something and make you think that it's your idea, but it's my idea, and it's gonna look 10 times better. So just trust me on this, and that's what I do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
that's.
Do they sound like that when they ask? They use that exact voice? It's pretty...
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't always know what they sound like, but they're predominantly male, and they play hard rock music or maybe some loungy shoegazer kind of rock, and I just picture their voices being like really oi. I don't know why.
No, that fits. I mean, that's what I'm imagining now that you say it. Now now it's like, oh, hey, can I get my guitar painted? Like, that's okay. I get it.
That's a sick looking guitar, dude. Can I have like the Ramones kind of logo on this? It's like pretty cool, dude. I don't know why. It's just I'm also pretty limited in my vocal range of what kind of male voice I can do.
No, it was good. I thought it was great. I thought you did a great job.
It doesn't matter. Anything you're going to do is going to be sexist, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I thought you were a different... I thought there was another man on the podcast for a second.
Cool.
You caught me off guard. Very impressive.
Jesus Christ. Weird brag, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Really weird. But well, that's cool. I didn't know that you painted guitars. That's a very neat thing.
Honestly, it's not that big. I just I scribbled on my boyfriend's guitar with like these alcohol markers just because he needed a placeholder before he got his real pick guard. So it's this piece in a cardboard, and I posted it in this guitar group that I'm part of. And I'm like, look what I did for fun. And people ask me, oh, can you do it for me? But like now, and I'm like, yes, give me money. So I started a company, started doing it for money. But I never really actually made like a website or homepage or anything. I just have this tiny little site on Facebook, like a page. And I never actually use it. I just go to these guitar groups that I'm part of because people know me there and they just come to me. I don't have to look for them. But
it's by reputation.
Yeah, it's by reputation. Oh. And since I paint guitars and they use them and they show them to their friends and they use them live, I mean, that's my marketing. So it's this tiny little thing that works on itself. I don't know how it works. It just does.
That's awesome. That's very cool. Yeah. I mean, I would love to see like some of the things that you've done sometime. Maybe
you can just search Facebook for Yaz Custom Art. That's where you find it.
Just custom art.
Yaz Custom Art, like Yaz my stage name. Like what? Yeah, Custom Art. Yeah. But yeah, that also had to. I do that when I have time, when I feel like it, when it's just another part of the creative persona, I guess.
Sure.
Well, you might not want to market it too much because then you'll just be spending your days drawing like anthropomorphic cat people on various instruments.
Yeah.
That's actually a real story, and I did a sketch for it. I did sketch that up, and I was horrified.
Did they like it?
I never showed it because I don't want them to like it. I'm like, I cannot do this. This is going to give me serious PTSD. I'm going to have nightmares. And anyone I showed it to is like, what the fuck are you doing, Jess? I'm like, I don't know. How do I get out of this? Just make 2 cats. I'm like, yeah, I have to make just 2 cats. Just 2 regular plain old cats. That's going to be fine. And when I design something and I'm like, this looks insane, I don't show it to them. I have to have this working kind of process where I just figure out what looks good, how can I tweak this and still keep their request within the lines of what I'm doing. So, it's give and take.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know. I see that sounds fun to me, like weird anthropomorphic cat people. Like at what point are we going to see like, so for the next Ashbury Heights cover, are we going to see like an anthropomorphic kind of like, can you draw Anders as like a centaur? Like, is that something that we could see? Like, that sounds great.
I mean, I might do something along the lines of, I don't know, centaur Anders.
Well, he could even be wearing a suit on the man half, just to make it like, keep with the Ashbury Heights theme. Like, yeah, that would be great.
I feel like if a certain set of fans, creative fans, hear this, we're going to see it either way. I mean, I'm not going to have to paint this. We have some seriously talented fans who post this fan art and stuff. And I've seen myself as a chibi version, also as a cat version. So maybe we'll see some weird suit-wearing horse Anders.
Yeah. You might have given some people ideas.
Yeah.
You put it out there.
You're feeding the adorable monsters.
I'm glad that I could give this gift to the world. I can't wait to see what happens.
Well, that actually brings up another good question. Like, what are some things that fans have like created for you guys that you guys are in love with, or some things you might not be as in love with, or are funny?
Oh, what a good question. There are memes.
I do like the memes.
I love the memes.
Yeah, the memes are good.
The memes are good. There's this certain.
I feel so contemporary when we're memes.
We're not old people. No, but I mean there are covers, of course. A friend, we haven't actually met him, but he's now part of Massive Ego, and they are great friends to us. Kyle, he's in Augur. He had this live session over Halloween last year, and he played a acoustic version of Spiders, and he sang it, and he tweaked it a bit, and I loved it. It was amazing. Also, Madil, who joined us for Wild Eyes, she did a cover of Spiders. That was amazing. And then we have all the fan art. I've saved so many different versions of fan art during the years, but my most treasured memory, to be honest, is from our first or second tour, I think. I mean, ever. And I lost one of my piercings. And I met two guys. They were standing outside of our tour bus. And I was like, have you seen a spike? It's about this big. And I showed them like a 2 feet long spike. It was huge. It was a big, huge spike in my lower lip. And they were like, no, but you can have mine. And they started like disassembling themselves with all these piercings and like just pouring them into my hand. Like, we don't have any sanitizer, but you can keep this. Please just take them. I love your music. Oh, I'm like, okay, thank you. This is weird, especially after pandemic times. But I actually saved a bunch of those piercing jewelries. I never got to use. I don't remember if I used it. Honestly, I don't remember. It's such a long time ago, but I remember the gesture. And that's not. It might not be like a song or a picture or a fan art thing, but for me, it's like one of them things that a fan has made that made me so. It's just such an endearing feeling. It was so cute.
That's a really sweet story.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I remember there was a Canadian fan who sent us like a care package. And, and in that package there was a skull and crossbones tie, which was terrible, but I kept it. I love it dearly. I used it. I don't think it was meant to be used. It was meant to be savored in a different way. And she sent. And it was a book of poetry, which was lovely. It was Leonard Cohen poetry collection, which I like very much. But then there was one more thing. There was a flask of maple syrup, and the thing is that back this was back in the noughties, and we never had maple syrup before. Like, maple syrup is more of a thing in Sweden now than it was back then, but but back then maple syrup really wasn't like much of a thing here. We Swedes put whipped cream and jam on pancakes, and our pancakes are very different from American Canadian pancakes, and this maple syrup made us try making American pancakes, and oh my God, they're so much better. And ever since, they're
so fluffy.
They're so fluffy and thick, and I put blueberries in them, and then they're even better. So like this fan like opened this whole world of culinary
savory taste,
pancakey delight, and I mean I can't, like, it was a very thoughtful gift, and it was a delicious gift, and ever since we're big fans of American blueberry pancakes and maple syrup.
But I also have to mention our last tour. We met this amazing, super happy, delightful fan who asked for an autograph, and this person wanted the autograph on their forearm, and we were like, yeah, sure, whatever. God, I mean, we've done weird stuff, so give me your forearm. That's fine. And this person was extremely happy, very supportive, and explained that this has been like a long time coming. And just 2 days later, we get tagged in a photo on Instagram. And this person actually went to a tattoo parlor with our autographs and tattooed them into their arm. And I'm like, wow. This is fucking bizarre. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm extremely honored. I'm very humbled. And I'm just super happy that our music can inspire someone and help someone in such a way that it helped this person. So if you're hearing this, it's still blowing my mind. It's insane.
Yeah, that was kind of like, that moment was cosmic.
Yeah, insane.
I'm glad that had a happy ending, because when I was much younger, I went and got a band tattoo on my body, which you're not supposed to do. Like, it's, like that's the curse, right? Like, as soon as you get it, this band that's your favorite is gonna turn into absolute dog shit. So I was like, well, I was like, well, I don't believe in curses, so I just went ahead and got it. And then sure enough, like the very next album, I'm like, what is this trash? I don't ever want to hear this again. So I'm glad that, in that case, like, they were, you guys haven't like turned to trash since they got their tattoo.
When you put it that way,
now I'm scared of it.
Now we have this like enormous burden. This
our next album.
No pressure, but whatever you put out next better be good.
Oh jeez.
There's skin in the game, if you will. But yeah, so out here, it's funny you mentioned pancakes because we're going to talk about pancakes for a second. When I first moved out to the Western United States, like my in-laws out here made sourdough pancakes. And I was like, what a strange concept. I've only had like, regular human person like box pancakes. So it was like, it's basically just like, I don't even know how to describe it, but they're like, if you've ever had really good like sourdough bread, like it's like that, but a pancake, and it's so delightful. It's so good. Like I highly recommend looking up the recipe if you are a pancake connoisseur, which it sounds like you might be now. So yeah, definitely look it up and give it a try. It's great. That's a whole story.
That sounds very intriguing. We'll take a look.
Yeah, but so what Swedish pancakes are not fluffy and
no, they're flat.
They're kind of flat, kind of like tortillas.
Okay.
And you you eat them with whipped cream and different like berries and jams and such.
Oh, it's like a crepe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's much closer to a crepe. Basically, pancakes in Europe are crepes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Unless you go to Ukraine. I went to the Ukraine and we were eating breakfast in Kiev. And I'm like, yeah, Belgian pancakes. Give them to me. They give me this. I don't even know how to describe it. You take a deck of cards, the thickness of a deck of cards, and you turn it into, I don't know, a book size, a tiny, like an A5. That's a standard size of a small book. And super thick, super chewy, and it was covered in this thick dust of vanilla sugar. My teeth hurt from biting into it.
I'm sure.
So sugary. Oh my God. So that was an experience talking about pancakes.
Excellent.
Sounds really weird.
Yeah, but that was like every day in Kiev.
How was that?
I love
Belgium?
Kiev, but yeah, I don't know. It's sweet.
I mean, I don't know how much you know about Belgium, but
No,
they
me
make.
neither. I have no idea.
I used to live on the Belgian.
pancakes.
Yeah, I used to live on the Belgian border, and like I had a lot of Belgian colleagues. In my experience, Belgian pancakes are like, I mean, they're just crepes, but they like putting chocolate on them.
Yeah, but see, this was Kiev's idea of a Belgian pancake.
Right. So it was like the Ukrainian idea of a Belgian.
Exactly. It's like when we say it's like when we say we make tacos or chili. It's not actually Mexican tacos or chili or I mean, we all have different versions of stuff. So
Yeah, it's just like how Ashbury Heights is, a version of a band. You're just like, your own interpretation of it. You guys are like the weird Ukrainian pancake of synth pop. I mean, that's the reality of it. I mean, just embrace it.
That description goes into our Facebook page.
That's a really unique description. We've never heard it before.
We are the Ukrainian pancake of synth.
I mean, I'm free all day. Like I got nothing better to do than do PR stuff. Like, oh, you got to check out Ashbury Heights. They're like the Ukrainian pancake of Belgian waffles. Like, you got to hear it. It's
Jesus, dude.
Wow. But great pancake stories. So we've been talking for a while. I usually close the show with kind of the same question. So I'll just go around and ask everybody here, like, what you've been enjoying lately. Like, and that can be anything. That can be a book, a video game, movie, TV series, just whatever is really like getting you excited, helping you get out of bed in the morning. Just don't say that nothing makes you happy right now. You have no joy in anything. I've gotten that answer a couple of times, and I always just want to die when someone gives that. It's like, I understand you have an image to maintain, but can you just pretend that you like being alive? So,
Oh my God.
so actually, we'll start with you, Matt. What are you enjoying lately? Like, what are you really jazzed about?
Okay, so we have Costco over here, which is like a membership only big box store. I think you have them down in the States, right, Brian?
Yep.
Costco, or yours is Sam's Club?
No, we have both, but thankfully
Okay.
I'm back on the West Coast now where we have Costco.
Okay, so it's like an exclusive shopping center type thing, and they have these like fudgicle popsicle things that are organic, only 90 calories. Amazing, amazing. Like I could eat the whole box. They're so good. I'm all about them.
That's your answer?
Yeah. Like, what do you want me to say? Nothing.
I don't know.
Nothing.
No, it's fine. No, yeah, it's fine. No, you can give any answer you want. Like I just
Why are you complaining?
Well, I just was expecting a little bit more. Like I wasn't expecting like, oh yeah, I went to Costco and I got these like fudgesicle things that are great. Like, all right, cool.
Oh my God. Okay, what's yours? What's yours then?
Okay. Well,
Exactly.
I like the newest Ashbury Heights single. That's pretty great. No, I've just been enjoying like it was my wife's birthday this past week, so I was spent the whole week like cleaning and cooking, and I tried out cooking something I'd never cooked before. I tried to make it was like General Tso's chicken, but it was like I substituted pork and put it in the crock pot and made sticky rice and tried to do a lot of things that I normally didn't. And so it was exciting to like be like, oh, look, I'm kind of a chef kind of a guy. Like, oh, I can cook things. Like, oh, I'm a man. I'm a husband. But so that was pretty fun to do. But yeah, so I've been enjoying that. That and there's a film on Shudder, horror film called Vicious Fun that is it's like a journalist in the 80s. He writes for like a horror magazine, like a Fangoria kind of a thing. And he stumbles upon a support group for serial killers. And it's fun. It's a lot of like dark black humor. But yeah, it's a blast. Can't say enough good things about it. What about you guys?
Well, first of all, tell your wife that the synth pop equivalent of Ukrainian Belgian waffles.
Happy birthday!
I will let her know. She'll be so flattered. She'll be like, "Who the hell is that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's Ashbury Heights. You might not know them by their new name, but."
Jesus. Yeah, you go first, Anders. What have you been enjoying lately?
Well, I'm lately. I'm enjoying this, of course.
Yes.
I just came up to my own to the town where I was born, Sundsvall, in northern Sweden, where I don't spend that much time here, but when I get up here, I try to get up here a few times a year to meet Jasmine and Joanne, hang out, play video games.
Work.
Drink beer, drink
and
wine. Yeah, make some good food together.
Look at some really stupid movies on Prime. There's a treasure trove of stupid ass movies on Prime.
For sure, there are.
That's another thing about me. I only watch bad movies. Yeah. I'm a huge so bad it's good aficionado.
Gotcha.
I respect that. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with him, of course. Of course, I enjoy him spending time here, and especially this time around because we're just hanging out. This is the closest thing we've come to actually working. So that's nice. There's no timetable, nothing we have to do, and that's healthy for us because of our workload in general. But aside from that, I've been enjoying what I usually try to do to find myself in a good headspace. I've been reading more books lately, Swedish horror from new authors. One of my colleagues recommended a few books, and I've been working the night shift for the past month, so I've had tons of time to read, which is really nice. So that's been a good experience.
I envy that.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah,
sorry. No, and I've also been spending a lot of time just outside. with the horses, horseback riding, just building new relationship with new animals. Just being outside, being alone, in the quiet, in the woods, just at home, in the woods.
Wow. So there's a lot
Yes.
of woods involved.
A lot of woods. I'm a wood person.
Well,
Yes.
no, that sounds fun. I mean, like, I'm sure there's no better way to pass your time at Sweden, Swedish intelligence or wherever secretive government agency you work at than to read horror novels. So
Yeah, that's it. It's actually it suits my kind of it suits the place very well.
Oh, that makes it even darker and more intriguing. Wow.
Yeah, it's all very secretive.
Oh, this is where we dispose of the bodies of enemies of the state. No,
we don't talk loud about what happens inside these walls, man.
Cool.
So
Well, that's a fascinating
it's been
aspect.
nice. And now I'm on vacation, and Anders is here, and we're just having fun and drinking tons of wine and eating good food and having awesome interviews. This has been by far one of the most interesting interviews we've ever done.
Well,
We've had so much fun.
I appreciate
So
it.
you've done a really good job.
Thank you. I try. I mean, I'm trying to become more of a professional, less of an amateur. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, it's not every day you get to talk to a band that you've listened to for 10 plus years that you're a big fan of and your wife's a big fan of, and tell them that they're a Ukrainian attempt at a waffle or pancake or whatever. Like it's a whole new day. It is. I've really arrived. Really.
Yeah, this is you. You've landed, man. You've got this.
Yeah. Thank you. This is as high as it gets.
Yep.
All right. Well, so I will keep an eye out for the compilation. I'm very excited about that. And you guys have like a new single or video like very soon. Is that right?
Yeah, on the 28th of July is the release of our next single, Cutscenes.
Yeah, it's featuring Danny Blue, a very very nice, well-sounding, super awesome dude. He's from the States, so that's a fun whole new way of collaboration. By the way, he's cool.
Gotcha. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing it. And we'll keep my eyes peeled for any other new stuff that you guys come out with. And like between that and secret government jobs and contraband music videos on YouTube, like this has been a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, we've
very
had
exciting.
fun.
Well, thank you. Actually, you know what? I just want to throw it out there. I'm Canadian. If you guys need a hookup for maple syrup, like legit, real maple syrup,
oh God,
just hit me up. Yeah, I'll send you crates of it.
Oh my God, thanks.
You never offered to send me crates of maple.
No, because you're an asshole. But for them, absolutely.
Oh, I see how it is.
Fighting,
Well, you're constantly making fun of me, telling me that I ride moose around and I eat beavers and stuff. So I'm not going to send you shit.
I don't recall ever saying that.
Ever? Yeah.
Okay. I think that's.
I'll
fake.
defend your glory by riding into battle on a moose for you. It's okay. we can throw all the tropes on each other.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, your maple syrup is very much welcomed. Please send it now.
You guys can bathe it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Send them enough that they can bathe in it and take it on tour, and yeah.
And toast in your name.
Yeah. But, well, thank you guys so much. I'm a big fan, and this was such an honor, such a delight. I know Matt's a big fan too, so you just made our days, probably our months, maybe the year. I don't know. It's early, but. Yeah, thank you guys so much. And thanks for your time. I really appreciate that. I know this was a little bit difficult to hammer out, but it was a blast. And enjoy the rest of your evening there, whatever is left of it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. We had fun too.
Tons of fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
For more Matt's music, visit synthr.bandcamp.com. That's SynthR, SYNTHR.